In the spring of 2007, what was supposed to be a peaceful family vacation in Portugal turned into one of the most famous and heartbreaking missing child cases in modern history. 3-year-old Madeleine McCann disappeared from a holiday apartment in Praia da Luz, a small seaside resort town in southern Portugal, and despite years of investigations, worldwide media attention, and countless theories, nobody has ever discovered exactly what happened to her. Madeleine had traveled to Portugal with her parents, Kate McCann and Gary McCann, along with her younger twin siblings. The family, from Leicestershire in England, had joined a group of friends for a vacation at the Ocean Club Resort. The adults in the group were mostly doctors and had developed a routine during the trip. After putting their children to bed at night, they would dine together at a tapas restaurant inside the resort, while taking turns checking on the sleeping children every half hour or so. On the evening of May 3rd, everything appeared normal. Around 8:30 p.m., Kate and Gary left the apartment where Madeleine and the twins were sleeping and joined their friends for dinner. The restaurant was only about 50 meters away from the apartment, close enough that the adults believed they could monitor the children safely through regular checks. At approximately 9:05 p.m., Gary went to the apartment to check on the children and noticed nothing unusual. He later stated that Madeleine was asleep in bed and everything seemed calm. Around 9:15 p.m., one of the family friends, Jane Tanner, claimed she saw a man carrying a child near the resort. But at the time she did not realize the sighting could be important. Then, at about 10 p.m., Kate returned to the apartment for another routine check and immediately sensed something was wrong. The bedroom door was open wider than she remembered leaving it, and when she looked inside, Madeleine's bed was empty. The window and shutters in the room were also open. Panic struck instantly. Kate rushed back toward the restaurant screaming that Madeleine was gone and that someone had taken her. Within minutes, the entire resort erupted into chaos as staff members, tourists, and friends joined a desperate search through the night. People searched streets, alleys, beaches, gardens, nearby apartments, and abandoned buildings while calling Madeleine's name in the darkness. But there was no sign of the little girl. Portuguese police arrived and began an investigation almost immediately, but the early hours of the case were marked by confusion and uncertainty. Initially, authorities considered the possibility that Madeleine had wandered away alone. But the open window and the circumstances inside the apartment raised fears of an abduction. As news spread across Europe, the case exploded into an international sensation. Madeleine's face appeared on television broadcasts, newspapers, billboards, airport screens, and websites around the world. Her distinctive feature, a dark mark in her right eye known as a coloboma, became instantly recognizable to millions. The McCanns launched a massive campaign to keep attention focused on their missing daughter, believing publicity could help bring her home safely. They gave emotional interviews, held press conferences, and traveled across Europe seeking support. The case attracted global sympathy. Celebrities, politicians, athletes, and religious leaders publicly expressed concern and support for the family. Even Pope Benedict XVI met with the McCanns and offered prayers for Madeleine's safe return. But while the public saw grieving parents desperately searching for their daughter, investigators behind the scenes struggled with growing complications. Thousands of tips poured in from around the world. Witnesses reported possible sightings of Madeleine in countries including Morocco, Belgium, Spain, and even Australia, but nearly every lead ended in disappointment. Portuguese authorities faced enormous pressure from both the British media and the public. Questions also began emerging about the parents' decision to leave their young children alone in the apartment while dining nearby. Although many sympathized with the McCanns, others criticized their actions, creating intense public debate. As months passed without answers, suspicion and speculation grew stronger. Then, in September 2007, the case took a dramatic and controversial turn when Portuguese police officially named Kate and Gary McCann as arguidos, a legal status meaning formal suspects under Portuguese law. The announcement shocked the world because until then the McCanns had largely been viewed as victims. Investigators reportedly believed Madeleine may have died accidentally inside the apartment and that her parents somehow concealed her death. Media reports claimed specially trained sniffer dogs detected traces of blood and cadavers sent in areas connected to the apartment and in a rental vehicle used by the family weeks later. Newspapers immediately exploded with sensational headlines accusing the McCanns of involvement in their daughter's disappearance. The pressure on the family became unbearable. Kate and Gary strongly denied all allegations and insisted they had nothing to do with Madeleine's disappearance. They maintained that their daughter had been abducted and accused investigators and the media of unfairly targeting them. Public opinion became deeply divided. Some people believed the parents were being treated unfairly, while others became convinced they were hiding something. Yet, despite all the accusations and endless speculation, investigators still lacked crucial evidence. There was no body, no confirmed crime scene, and no direct proof showing what happened to Madeleine. In 2008, Portuguese authorities officially closed the investigation due to insufficient evidence, and the arguido status against the McCanns was lifted. Officially, the mystery remained unsolved, but the case never disappeared from public attention. The McCanns continued their search through private investigators and public campaigns, while journalists, documentary filmmakers, and amateur internet detectives became obsessed with the mystery. Over time, the disappearance of Madeleine McCann transformed into one of the most discussed crime cases in the world. In 2011, British authorities launched a major review known as Operation Grange through the Metropolitan Police. Detectives reviewed thousands of documents and re-examined the evidence from the beginning. British investigators believed there was still a realistic possibility that Madeleine had been abducted by an unknown offender. The investigation became one of the most expensive missing person cases in British history, costing millions of pounds and involving years of detective work. Officers analyzed mobile phone records, re-interviewed witnesses, reconstructed timelines, and searched for overlooked clues. In 2013, British police released new sketches of potential suspects based on witness accounts from the night Madeleine disappeared. One of the most important sightings remained Jane Tanner's report of a man carrying a child near the resort shortly before the disappearance was discovered. Investigators believed this person might have been connected to the case, though his identity was never confirmed publicly at the time. Years passed with no major breakthrough, and many people began to believe the mystery might never be solved. Then, in 2020, German authorities made a stunning announcement that once again placed the case at the center of global headlines. German prosecutors revealed they were investigating a convicted German criminal named Christian Brückner as the prime suspect in Madeleine's disappearance. Brückner had lived in Portugal near Praia da Luz during the period when Madeleine vanished and had a long history of crimes involving burglary, drugs, and sexual offenses against children. Investigators stated that his mobile phone records placed him in the area on the night Madeleine disappeared. German authorities publicly declared that they believed Madeleine was dead, though they did not reveal all the evidence supporting their conclusion. The announcement shocked the world because for the first time in years, investigators appeared confident they had identified a serious suspect. Police conducted new searches in Portugal connected to Brückner and examined wells, buildings, and hidden areas near the resort. Reports also emerged that Brückner had allegedly discussed abducting children in conversations with acquaintances. Despite the growing suspicion, authorities still lacked enough publicly known evidence to charge him with Madeleine's disappearance, and Brückner denied involvement. To this day, no one has been convicted or formally charged for the crime. Over the years, countless theories have emerged about what happened that night in Praia da Luz. Some believe Madeleine was abducted by a child trafficking network. Others think she may have been targeted by a lone redditor familiar with the resort. Alternative theories suggest she may have wandered out of the apartment and suffered an accident before being secretly moved or hidden. Because the case lacks definitive evidence, speculation has flourished endlessly online, in books, documentaries, and social media discussions. The disappearance also sparked worldwide conversations about parenting, media ethics, and police investigations. Many people questioned whether the McCanns were unfairly demonized by the press, while others continued criticizing their decision to leave the children unattended. British tabloids were later forced to apologize and pay damages to the McCanns after publishing false accusations suggesting the parents were responsible for Madeleine's death. The case also changed how many families viewed child safety during vacations, with parents becoming far more cautious about leaving children alone even briefly. Beyond the media attention and criminal investigation lies the devastating human tragedy at the center of the story. Kate and Gary McCann have spent nearly 2 decades living with uncertainty about what happened to their daughter. Every birthday, anniversary, and holiday serves as another painful reminder of the little girl who vanished without explanation. In public statements over the years, the family has repeatedly said they continue searching for answers and refuse to give up hope completely. Madeleine's disappearance remains one of the world's most haunting unsolved mysteries because it combines every element that deeply unsettles people. A young child, a vacation paradise turned into a nightmare, conflicting evidence, intense media attention, controversial suspects, and a complete absence of closure. Even today, nearly 20 years later, millions of people still remember the image of Madeleine's smiling face and wonder what truly happened inside that apartment on the warm evening of May 3, 2007. Somewhere within the witness statements, forensic reports, phone records, and forgotten clues may still exist the final answer investigators have searched for all these years. Until that truth is uncovered, the disappearance of Madeleine McCann will continue haunting investigators, the public, and most of all the family who never stopped waiting for their daughter to come home.